You're listening to From Stillness, an audiobook for a mind in need of quiet. Most people move through life solving one problem at a time, reacting to whatever shows up. It feels productive in the moment, checking boxes, responding quickly, staying on top of things. But there's a quiet trap in this pattern. When you only think tactically, you end up stuck in an endless loop of short-term fixes. It's like playing chess and focusing only on your next move, while your opponent is thinking 5 moves ahead. Tactical thinking keeps you busy. Strategic thinking changes the entire game. Strategic thinking means zooming out. Instead of reacting, you start anticipating. Instead of asking, "How do I fix this?" you ask, "Why does this keep happening?" You begin to see patterns where others see chaos, and you focus not just on action but on positioning, creating conditions where success becomes easier and problems become avoidable. It's not a gift some people are born with. It's a skill you can build. And once you begin, it changes how you approach everything, from your career to your health, your relationships to your finances. Imagine living with a sense of direction so strong that every decision, every action, every habit is part of a larger plan. You stop wasting energy on distractions and start designing your days around what matters most. The shift from tactical to strategic doesn't just make you more effective. It gives you a sense of control, purpose, and quiet confidence that others can feel. You stop playing catch-up with life and start playing a game you've already planned to win. That's the real power of strategic thinking. Most people go through life without a clear blueprint, reacting to opportunities, drifting between goals, and hoping that somehow it will all come together. But hope isn't a strategy. Strategic thinking means designing your future with intention, and that begins with creating a strategic vision. It's not about predicting every detail, it's about choosing direction over drift. To build a meaningful vision, you have to start at the end. Imagine yourself 5 years from now, not just in terms of money or status, but in the details that truly matter. How do you feel each morning? What kind of work brings you fulfillment? What kind of relationships surround you? What skills have you mastered? When you visualize that version of yourself, you're no longer guessing your way forward. You're defining what better actually looks like. Then you work backwards. If that's the destination, what needs to be true 1 year from now? 6 months? Next week? Suddenly your goals become milestones on a map instead of vague wishes. You stop reacting to life and start filtering your decisions through this long-term lens. That job offer, that new course, that commitment, they're not judged on their immediate reward but on whether they align with your direction. Here's the truth. Clarity creates confidence. When you know where you're going, saying no becomes easier. You're no longer chasing every opportunity, you're selecting the ones that fit your plan. Your energy stops getting scattered. Your days begin to build something. Strategic vision isn't about control, it's about alignment. And when your choices align with your deeper purpose, life doesn't just move forward, it moves forward with meaning. We often underestimate how much our environment shapes our behavior. Most people rely on willpower to make better decisions. They try to fight temptation, resist distractions, and stay motivated through sheer effort. But strategic thinkers know that willpower is unreliable. Real change happens not through force, but through design. And your environment is one of the most powerful tools you can redesign. Think of your environment as a silent coach. It nudges you constantly, often without you even realizing. If your phone is within reach, you'll check it. If unhealthy snacks are on your desk, you'll eat them. This isn't a character flaw, it's human psychology. Strategic environment design is about using that psychology in your favor. You don't try to be stronger than your surroundings. You change the surroundings so that better choices become effortless. Want to read more? Put a book where you'll see it before bed. Want to stop scrolling late at night? Leave your charger outside the bedroom. Want to move more? Lay your gym clothes out before you sleep. These changes might seem small, even trivial, but small environmental cues compound quickly. They make the right choices easier and the wrong ones harder. That's how change becomes sustainable. But it goes deeper than your physical space. Your digital environment matters. Your calendar, your app layout, your browser tabs, They all send signals to your brain. So does your social environment. The people you regularly interact with shape your norms and habits. Strategic environment design means adjusting all of these elements to pull you toward your goals. When your environment supports your vision, you don't have to rely on constant discipline. You're no longer fighting to stay on track. Your environment does half the work for you. That's not cheating. That's intelligent strategy. Most people treat resources like something to be spent and used up: time, energy, money, skills. But strategic thinkers see resources differently. They see them not as coins to be spent, but as seeds to be planted. Seeds that, when nurtured wisely, multiply. The difference is subtle but life-changing. It means shifting from consumption to compounding, from survival to expansion. Take time, for example. Most people try to squeeze more into each hour, believing that productivity means doing more. But strategic thinking flips that. Instead of asking how to do more, it asks, what actions multiply the impact of my time? Reading a book isn't just passing time, it expands your thinking. Building a relationship isn't just socializing, it unlocks future collaboration, knowledge, and opportunities. The same applies to energy. It's not just about pushing through the day, it's about noticing where your energy flows best and aligning your most important work to those windows. Strategic thinkers protect, invest, and channel energy where it matters most, rather than wasting it on tasks that offer no return. Money, too, becomes something more than spending power. It's leverage, a means to invest in tools, experiences, and learning that unlock new levels of impact. But here's the key insight. Resources aren't just what you possess. They also include what you can access, borrow, or leverage. You don't need to know everything if you can find the right mentor. You don't need to own every tool if you can use the right platform. Strategic thinking means asking not just, what do I have, but how can I use what I have to create more? In this way, resources stop being limited. They become regenerative. And your capacity to grow, create, and contribute expands exponentially. Most people see risk as something to be avoided, an obstacle, a danger, a threat to stability. But strategic thinkers see it differently. They understand that risk isn't the enemy, it's the gateway to growth. Avoiding all risk doesn't keep you safe, it keeps you stuck. Because in trying to eliminate uncertainty, you also eliminate opportunity. The truth is, risk is everywhere. Staying in the same job, never trying anything new, even silence in the face of challenge, those are risks too. Just quieter ones. Strategic thinking doesn't aim to live without risk. It aims to understand and use it. It means recognizing that not all risks are created equal. Some are reckless, some are calculated. The key is to seek out what's called asymmetric risk, where the potential upside far outweighs the downside. It's saying yes to that public speaking opportunity, knowing the worst case is embarrassment, but the best case is influence, confidence, and growth. The smartest strategies aren't about avoiding what could go wrong. They're about positioning yourself to benefit when things go right. Strategic risk-takers prepare themselves not just with safety nets, but with springboards, alternate paths, secondary plans, optional routes that still lead forward. That way, even if Plan A fails, Plan B becomes a new opportunity rather than a fallback. Managing risk also means building resilience. Like trees that grow stronger facing wind, we develop inner strength through challenge. Avoiding risk at all costs leads to fragility. Facing it, understanding it, and learning how to navigate through it, that builds durability. In the end, the question isn't, how do I avoid risk, but which risks are worth taking? Because the real danger lies not in failing, but in never moving at all. Most people treat learning like a checklist, a set of random skills acquired when needed, hoping one of them sticks. But strategic thinkers understand that learning isn't just about collecting knowledge. It's about building a system that accelerates all future growth. Learning becomes a tool for leverage, not just to do more, but to become more. Your brain isn't a storage unit, it's a living network. Every skill you acquire, every pattern you recognize, connects to something else you already know. And the more intentional you are about these connections, the faster your development multiplies. This is where meta skills come in, those core abilities like pattern recognition, mental models, and systems thinking that make every other skill easier to learn. These aren't just useful, they're foundational. They're what allow you to learn how to learn. Strategic learning also means understanding the principle of learning transfer. When you dive deeply into one area, the insights ripple outward. Learn chess, and you sharpen strategic foresight. Study music, and your brain's pattern recognition soars. Learn a new language, and your cognitive flexibility grows. The goal is never just to know more, it's to think better. But here's what makes this strategy so powerful. Growth is not linear. It compounds. Every skill you build becomes a scaffold for the next. The learning curve shortens, the connections accelerate, and suddenly you're not just growing, you're evolving. This is how some people seem to master fields rapidly while others stagnate. It's not talent, it's intentional learning. In a world that changes faster every day, your greatest asset isn't what you know, it's how quickly you can adapt. Strategic learners don't wait for information to become relevant. They stay ready, curious, capable, and future-proof. Relationships aren't just a part of life, they're the hidden architecture behind every major breakthrough. Strategic thinkers recognize that success is rarely a solo pursuit. Instead, it's built on carefully cultivated networks that amplify impact, accelerate growth, and unlock opportunities you can't access alone. But here's the catch. It's not about collecting contacts, it's about building a living ecosystem of value. Most people approach networking transactionally. They ask what others can do for them. But strategic relationship building flips the script. It starts by giving. By being the person who shares insight, connects others, offers help without expecting anything in return, you become a magnet for meaningful connections. These aren't superficial links. They're strong, durable bonds built on mutual growth. Every person in your network has skills, insights, and connections you don't. But more importantly, they see the world differently. When you bring those perspectives together, you expand your own thinking exponentially. It's not just about who you know, it's how you collaborate with them, how you grow alongside them, and how you help them thrive. Here's where it gets powerful. When you help others connect with each other, your network starts to grow itself. You become a node of value in a larger system, and that system starts working for you, generating opportunities, solving problems, and accelerating progress, often without you asking. Strategic relationship building means showing up consistently with value, honesty, and long-term vision. It means being intentional about who you surround yourself with and what kind of energy you share. Done right, your network becomes a multiplier, not just of success, but of purpose, creativity, and resilience. You stop working alone. You start growing together. Career growth isn't just about hard work, it's about playing the right game on the right board, with the right pieces. Most people approach their career like they're climbing a ladder, one rung at a time, hoping for a promotion or waiting for someone to notice their effort. But strategic thinkers view their career as a platform, not just a path to climb, but a foundation to build from. Each move isn't just a step forward, it's a position that opens new angles, unlocks new leverage, and compounds over time. At the heart of this approach is the concept of building a career moat, a unique combination of skills, relationships, and reputation that makes you irreplaceable. It's not just about being good at your job, it's about being so valuable, so visible, and so connected that opportunities start seeking you out instead of the other way around. Every role you take, every project you lead, every relationship you build, they're not isolated wins. They're assets that continue to generate returns. And that's where the strategy comes in. Strategic career design means asking better questions. Instead of, what job do I want next? Ask, what capabilities and connections do I need to create the kind of future I want? Choose roles not just for the title or salary, but for how they position you, for what you'll learn, who you'll meet, and what new doors they'll open. The goal is to stop reacting and start positioning. When you apply strategic thinking to your career, you no longer feel like you're chasing something vague. You're building something concrete, a reputation, a network, a body of work that speaks louder than any CV. You become not just a candidate for roles, but a creator of opportunities. Financial success isn't just about how much you earn, it's about how intentionally you use what you have. For most people, money is either saved or spent, but strategic thinkers see money as a tool, something to be directed, multiplied, and built upon. The difference lies in mindset. It's not about hoarding wealth, nor about reckless spending. It's about structuring your finances to serve your larger life strategy. Imagine your finances like a garden. Every pound has the potential to grow something, not just possessions, but opportunities. This is where strategic financial thinking begins. You don't simply ask, "Can I afford this?" You ask, "What return does this give me?" A course might improve your career. A move might offer location leverage. Even a job with lower pay could offer high-value learning dividends. Strategic thinkers focus less on instant gains and more on lifetime value. And here's the most overlooked truth. Financial freedom isn't a fixed number, it's a system. It's the ability to make decisions based on purpose, not pressure. That might mean building assets that work while you sleep, side businesses, investments, intellectual property. Or it could mean removing debt, simplifying expenses, and reclaiming energy and time. In either case, the goal is to make money serve your life, not define it. What makes this truly transformative is when you align your financial choices with your long-term vision. Every purchase, every investment, every risk becomes intentional. You're not just making ends meet, you're designing a life with freedom at the center. When that shift happens, money stops being a source of stress and starts becoming the engine that powers the life you actually want to live. Health isn't just a pillar of your life, it's the foundation that everything else stands on. Without energy, even the clearest strategy falls apart. Most people chase success by sacrificing sleep, skipping meals, or pushing through stress, assuming they'll take care of themselves later. But that later never comes. Strategic thinkers understand this mistake. They treat energy like capital, to be invested wisely and protected intentionally. What separates high performers isn't that they have more time. It's that they have more usable time. They know how to generate energy instead of constantly depleting it. And that starts with changing how we define health. It's not about being gym-obsessed or drinking green juice all day. It's about optimizing recovery, managing stress, prioritizing sleep, and fueling your body in a way that sustains focus, resilience, and creativity. Your physical habits, what you eat, how you move, when you rest, are not just health choices. They're strategic decisions that ripple through every part of your life. That mid-afternoon brain fog? Probably not a motivation issue, it's your system running on fumes. That short temper or inability to focus? Often, it's your nervous system asking for rest, not more coffee. When you build your health habits intentionally, something powerful happens. You don't just feel better. You think clearer, decide faster, and recover from challenges with strength instead of strain. Strategic health isn't about perfection. It's about consistency, the small, repeatable actions that build the stamina you need to thrive, not just survive. Because in the end, energy is the multiplier. With it, everything becomes easier. Without it, even simple things feel overwhelming. Prioritize energy, and you unlock the full potential of every other area of your life. Time is the great equalizer. Everyone has the same 24 hours. But how those hours are used varies dramatically between people who feel stuck in a cycle of busyness and those who make measurable progress every day. The difference isn't time management, it's focus management. Strategic thinking transforms time from something you spend into something you leverage. And the key to leverage is attention. You can work 10 hours distracted or 2 hours deeply focused, and the latter will likely produce more impact. It's not about cramming more in. It's about protecting what matters most. Your brain has peak windows, those hours in the day when you're naturally sharper, more creative, and more decisive. The goal is to identify and fiercely protect these windows. They're not for emails or admin. They're for your highest leverage work, the thinking, creating, or building that moves your life forward. This is where deep work comes in. Deep work means carving out time for undisturbed, high-concentration tasks. No multitasking. No reacting to every ping or alert. Just one clear objective, full presence, and deliberate effort. It's a muscle, and like any muscle, it strengthens with use. But strategy also means designing your environment for focus. That could be setting your phone to do not disturb, using noise-canceling headphones, or having a clear workspace that signals to your brain. This is where we get things done. Because in the end, scattered time leads to scattered results. But focused time? That's where breakthroughs happen. When you align your attention with your ambition, you stop reacting to the day and start owning it. And that's when time stops slipping through your fingers and starts working in your favor. Creativity is often misunderstood as something mystical, a flash of inspiration that arrives when the conditions are just right. But true innovators know that creativity isn't magic, it's a system. It's not about waiting for ideas to appear, it's about designing conditions where ideas are more likely to emerge. Strategic creativity means treating your mind like a lab, not a lottery ticket. Innovation begins with input. The more diverse, the better. Ideas are built from what you've already been exposed to, which means that cross-disciplinary curiosity becomes fuel for breakthroughs. Reading widely, learning across domains, and staying curious in unexpected places gives your brain the raw material to make powerful connections. The best ideas often come from applying concepts from one field to an unrelated problem in another. But it's not just about what goes in, it's about how it gets combined. Strategic thinkers create systems to capture sparks of insight, a dedicated notebook, a digital folder, a voice memo app. Every passing idea gets recorded, because the creative process isn't linear, it's layered. A thought from last week might collide with today's observation and become tomorrow's innovation. Constraints also play a critical role. While most people see them as limitations, strategic creatives see them as prompts. A tight deadline, a strict budget, or a clear boundary often forces more inventive solutions. It pushes your brain out of autopilot and into problem-solving mode. When you treat creativity as a practice, not a personality trait, you free yourself from the myth that it's only for artistic types. Anyone can become more creative. You just need systems, inputs, and the willingness to connect dots others don't even see. That's how innovation stops being occasional and starts becoming inevitable. Every decision you make today shapes the landscape of your future, often in ways you don't immediately see. But most people approach decision-making reactively. They choose based on what's urgent, familiar, or emotionally convenient. Strategic thinkers, however, take a different route. They understand that how you make decisions is just as important as what you decide. Instead of reacting, they design a process that consistently leads to better outcomes. It starts with pattern recognition. Strategic decision makers don't look at choices in isolation. They see how one decision sets the stage for the next. Each move is part of a larger sequence. Like a chess player thinking 3 moves ahead, they consider not only the immediate benefit, but how a decision might limit or expand future options. Another powerful principle is decision stacking. This means making choices that reinforce each other over time. Instead of solving today's problem in a vacuum, you choose an option that improves your future decision-making ability. For example, investing time to learn a new tool today may slow you down now, but opens up a range of better opportunities tomorrow. Most importantly, strategic thinkers build systems that learn. Every outcome, good or bad, feeds back into a refined process. You're not just aiming for perfect results, you're improving the quality of your judgment. Over time, this turns uncertainty from a threat into an advantage. By shifting focus from short-term comfort to long-term clarity, you don't just become someone who makes good choices, you become someone who makes increasingly better ones. That's how strategic thinking doesn't just guide your decisions, it transforms your life. Creativity isn't a mysterious burst of inspiration reserved for the lucky few. It's a system you can train and strengthen like any other. Strategic creativity is not about waiting for the perfect idea to fall into your lap. It's about creating the right environment, habits, and inputs that allow fresh ideas to surface reliably. The real magic happens when you stop treating creativity as a lightning strike and start seeing it as a deliberate process. The brain is naturally designed to form connections between ideas. But the quality of those connections depends on the diversity and depth of the ideas you expose yourself to. Strategic thinkers cultivate creativity by drawing from multiple fields, disciplines, and perspectives. They don't just consume content within their niche, they actively look for patterns across unrelated areas. This process, known as cross-pollination, is what often leads to breakthroughs that seem innovative or even revolutionary. Constraints, too, play a surprisingly important role. Most people view them as limits, but strategic creatives treat them as springboards. Boundaries force your brain to explore unconventional paths, to dig deeper, and to innovate rather than replicate. Most importantly, strategic creativity is proactive. It involves capturing ideas regularly, scheduling time to think, and building rituals that spark insight, whether it's a morning walk, journaling, or simply stepping away from your usual environment. When creativity becomes a habit rather than a hope, you're not chasing ideas. You're building the conditions that allow them to find you. With this mindset, creativity stops being a rare gift and becomes a dependable tool for problem-solving, innovation, and progress in any area of life. Every decision we make is a building block in the architecture of our future. Yet most people treat decision-making like a reflex, fast, reactive, and often unexamined. Strategic thinking teaches us that it's not about making more decisions, but about making better ones. And better doesn't mean perfect. It means intentional, thoughtful, and informed by a bigger picture. One of the most powerful shifts you can make in daily life is learning to pause before you choose. That pause is where strategy lives. It's where you move from impulse to insight. Start asking better questions. What's the long-term impact of this? Is this solving the root problem or just the symptom? What does this choice set up for tomorrow? These small inquiries build your ability to stack decisions, to make moves that not only work now, but also pave the way for better options later. This is especially relevant when facing uncertainty. Strategic decision-makers don't aim to eliminate all risk. They learn to navigate it. They create systems that learn from failure, adapt over time, and build resilience rather than perfection. In everyday life, this could mean choosing rest over another hour of work because it sustains long-term productivity. It could mean saying no to a short-term gain that distracts from your deeper goals. The more you think in systems, not just single outcomes, the more your life begins to align with who you truly want to become. Ultimately, decision-making isn't just a momentary act. It's a reflection of your values, your priorities, and your vision. Treat it with the care it deserves, and you'll notice your life gradually becoming more intentional, less chaotic, and deeply yours.